It's not all to fool around. We need navigation images. So I'm gonna have to get out and try to catch a few images. It's not an easy thing. It's really shaky out there. The sea is rough. Heavy swell. It's hard for the pilot. The weather's nice. Strong wind. Heavy sea. All right, I'm going outside now. This video resumes well what all skippers are going through in the South Seas. The wind, the heavy sea, the speed, and the danger behind each wave, each gust. Not to forget the apprehension of the great swat. Here's a rear roaring 40 squall. Dark sky right behind. Growing wind, which can become dangerous with the amount of sail I have out. You gotta watch out. We're fast today. About 25 knots, 30 knots wind. Nice maneuver. I didn't even get wet. Just had to stick my neck out. You see? Passage of the front in the South Seas. Quite something. But through these images, we only get a touch of their adventure. When it's really hard, cameras don't roll. This week's been quite scarce. To get the idea, you got to listen to Bernard Rubinstein, Cabrali's companion, distinguished reporter who's also raced these seas. It's amazing what they're able to do. Of course, the distances they've covered. I don't know, it's hard to tell, but they sometimes sail underwater. They have permanently torrents of water pouring into the cockpit. An incredible noise level. They move around on all four. And still, they need to helm when conditions are particularly difficult. The boat accelerates, slows down. You sit inside a wash machine and you'll near what these skippers live to. Not to mention the cold. The more you head down, the colder it gets. Makes sense. Today's Sunday, December 16th. We're in the furious 50s. The southern hemisphere by 51 degrees south. It's cold here. And to show you how cold, the olive oil has frozen. Here. That's the olive oil. All hardened. It's about 5 or 6 degrees on board. The clothes are now drying. You see, we got the heavy woolen blanket out to sleep, along with the pillow, the mattress, the gloves, over hat, foul weather gear. The whole gear's there. And outside, it's wet with the heavy sea. It's really cold, with heavy squalls. Some sunny spells too, still quite choppy. And we're on to passing the East Gate of Australia. Armel le Cleac'h is on to a hot scramble side by side with François Gabart, a novelty in the Vendée Globe. It's truly extraordinary. They skim over the race, burst the time reference at Cape Lewin, are obviously the first to enter the Pacific Ocean. Welcome on board Massif. We just entered the Pacific Ocean. I haven't felt the difference between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific, but it's changed. And as you can see, the sun is about to set, because when it sets here, it rises for you. All that because they took advantage of a front over a week ago. 10 days that changed entirely the looks of the race. They're able to stay up the front for a longer time. And what's most surprising is that the ones in the back get locked up in boxes. And that in itself isn't easy to live up to for those in the back, because not only are the leaders off beyond the front with a well-oriented wind and a slight sea, but they're stuck in the back with less wind and a pooping sea watching the others set off. It's not easy. And each day that passes, François and Armel increase their advance. Inexorably, always better positions, always faster. Friday, December 21st, their first pursuer, Jean-Pierre Dick, is at 550 miles. Alex Thompson and Bernard Stam at 880. For the time being, no forecast is to be expected. Certainly a matter of self-esteem. Who's the smart aleck who can name the winner of the Vendée Globe? Anyone who claims to know, I would compare to an imbecile. Still, in François and Armel's back, it's shoveling hard. Hard. It's tough climbing up the mast. It isn't my thing. Here I'm finishing a repair. I'm sewing the braid. We call that the conditions are really hard. Oh, there. It shakes too much, boy. We'll do it later. It's really shady at the moment. After my climbing up the mast, wow, my crotch is really aching. I have blood circulation trouble. 2 hours up there is really long. I'm done with the repairs. I'm off to sleep now. Bye. The morning's light. You can see the wind we had last night. Here is the morning of the next day. I was sitting there on my seat like that, and there I did the dead man's drop. So with the dead man's drop, what happened is that the boat suddenly stopped, the sea tore off like that, crack, I fell backwards like that, and clack, I found myself on the floor, stuck at the bottom. I fell on my back, on my rib cage, and the sea tore off. You see it well there. Here's, what should I say, the dead man's drop. And through all these videos that transmit their difficulties, one sticks out as anecdotal, a dishwasher tale that makes a point of domination. I'm going to show you as a preview the dishwasher on board Massif. By talking about dishwashing, François Gabart tells us about his trivial preoccupations. You see, it's very dirty. And I'm going to show you my dishwasher. Nothing less to prove you're an easy stay. So I turned it on night mode. A good blow to the others' morale. It'll run all night. Tomorrow morning I'll show you the results. And here's the result. You noticed it's impeccable. Rapping about dishwashing is as though he was pouring his heart out. He was telling me, you know, I'm not into wind, you know, it's the first time. But I have the feeling he's changed his mind along the way. Really, this guy's amazing. Don't forget, he's the youngest of the skippers, the fellow who followed a path the best, the Olympics. And he's an engineer. He's got a rigor. He applies to the race, and it works well. There's not much between Armel and François when you look into it. Hello and welcome on board Massif, Thursday, December 20th. We're not far from Auckland Island, south of New Zealand. Quite a bit of wind, between 30 and 40 knots. Always a heavy sea. Not easy. Some albatross. And right there, upwind. Gotta wait for the wave to descend. Here's Banque Populaire at about 20 length. He's been there for the last 2 hours. I tried to reach him on the VHF, but he doesn't answer. You see him now. It's excellent, no? Wouldn't you say? It's enormous. It's really exhilarating at the moment. A wonderful competition. Two are at the head, close, but they have no choice. Are they at their maximum? How far? 80, 90%? No, they're not far from the 100% figure. There, at 100%. Yes, it's a lesson they learned from Michel Desjoyaux 4 years ago, where in the south, he was one notch over everyone. It's true that since the beginning of the Vendée Globe, we tend to say in the south we should sail at 75–80%. And 4 years ago, Michel shuffled the cards. We saw him reaching speeds close to the 100%. Not all the time, but often enough. Now here today, the lesson is that to win the Vendée Globe, you got to stay near the 100%. Tanguy de la Motte never had that ambition, but he doesn't care, so it seems. There's smoke on the water, he spikes up the wind. 45 knots wind! Smoke on the water!